Good morning, Nathan.
Good morning.
All right, day 2, Bronco project. We did get a lot of stuff done yesterday, I think. We worked like half day on this thing, maybe? I don't know. So we got as you guys can see, the whole interior is out. We did a lot of sound treatment yesterday, and I did a lot of, exploring and kind of figuring out how to fit all this equipment in this vehicle. So there's a couple things that we did that we looked at. First things first, we were talking about yesterday, you guys know that we have there's a 6.5 on each side in the kick panel, and we were talking about doing an extra mid-bass driver here in the door. We did some research. We looked at the connector, because you want to look here, Nathan, these things are pretty cool. They literally, you can unplug the door, and then there's a folding cap that seals it up when the door's off. It looks to be like there's some open pins, but technically they're not even open. You can't repin the harness or add pins to these harnesses. So we feel like it's not we're not gonna drill holes or, drill out the connector and make these doors so they can't come off. So we're gonna we're not gonna do mid-bass drivers in these front doors. It just doesn't seem feasible. It was an idea, but it's just not possible to do it correctly. So we're gonna get rid of that idea. So what we're gonna do today, since we're not doing a mid-bass driver in these front doors, we're actually going to remove the rest of the other 3 door panels, and we're gonna go ahead and do sound treatment on all the doors. So we're gonna sound treat this outer skin, which is the real thin outside metal. We're gonna sound treat this part of the door, the inner, and then we're actually going to sound treat the door panel. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3 layers of sound treatment on these doors, and we're actually going to repeat that process through all 4 doors of the vehicle. So we're going to go ahead and get that knocked out here this morning first. Yesterday we determined that our 1/2-inch speaker adapters that we make for the Ford rear actually works perfectly for the front kick panel locations of this vehicle. So we'll probably just go ahead and get those installed today. And then I'm gonna move, Nathan and I are actually gonna work together. We're gonna get the rest of the dash pulled apart, and I'm gonna work on our top left, center right locations. Because remember, we're doing a 3-inch tweeter left and right, and then we're doing a 3-inch coaxial Illusion C3CX in the center for center channel. So we have to design some templates on the computer and cut some templates and start figuring out how we're going to get that in there and make it look. So I think today is all about the front stage and finishing up the door treatment, and then we can move on to making sure we have every single wire ran to the back that we need. Like, we still have to do the bass knob. We're going to manufacture a T-harness. There's a bunch of things to still do on this project, as far as, the basics of wiring and treatment and stuff like that. So we'll see what we get done with that, what we get done today with that. But mainly I want to concentrate on getting the front stage done. So, and then we'll move slowly to the back of the vehicle. So stay tuned. All right, guys. So we're getting started on can't even speak this morning. So we're getting started on what we just talked about, getting the rest of the doors sound treated, and we're going to start getting up here on the the dash speakers. But first of all, yesterday we lifted this carpet up and took the console out. Couldn't get the carpet completely out of the vehicle because it's wrapped around basically the center console of the truck. You'd have to remove a lot of things to get it out. So we actually just picked this up. First thing we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and vacuum the floor, clean it up, and we're actually going to put down some protection film on the carpet, because as we work on this project, we want to keep the carpet in new condition. We get, wire strippings and our feet and all that kind of stuff all over it. So we're going to go ahead and get some of this protection film on the carpet to keep this carpet new as we work on this brand new Bronco. So we're gonna vacuum it out now. Nathan's gonna vacuum it out now, and then we're gonna prep the floor. Okay, got the floor carpet protected so we don't soil the brand new carpet in here when we're working on it. So now we can go ahead and we're gonna go ahead and pull the rest of the doors off, and then we'll go into time warp fast mode and you guys get to watch treatment. So that's what's next. We'll get the rest of the doors off and get the rest of the doors treated. And I'm going to start messing around with this dash opening.
Waiting for love.
Alright guys, so Nathan and I just took the rest of the dash apart, which wasn't that bad. I had to loosen the airbags, which was kind of weird. It's kind of a first to get the A-pillars out. So the dash topper was underneath the A-pillars on each side, so we had to pull all that out. Got that all out, and now I got it. We got this over here on the bench. We got this whole top of the dash out of the truck, and looks like we're gonna do our center channel here, right? Center channel somehow. We're gonna put this guy here in the middle, and we got our other things going on, so we'll work on that. What's interesting, what I noticed, is you have a speaker provision here, and it also looks to be, there's a speaker provision here in the dash. Maybe possibly the higher end B&O system comes with a center channel from factory, so there is a provision for a speaker there. You'd probably have to get a whole new dash top with the speaker grill in it, so I guess that's why it's so easily removable. So now we got that out, I can work on the dash speakers more, and I believe at this time, I know Nathan still has to finish. He did those doors over there, they're all on and done. We got this door, the original door we took off to do, and this back door. It was crazy if you guys hear that. That's the driver's door. It sounds like a tin can. And then we have this door. So sound treatment, it works. Did all these, he did the panels too. So nice and solid, they're back on, which is great. So we got a mess in the car of pillars and visors and handles and stuff, so we're going to clean this up and start rocking and rolling on the next thing. Okay guys, we've been hard at work getting this all the wiring ran, finally finalized. We have all the wiring on this driver's side. We ran it through the factory channel. We actually removed the factory channel and cut all the tie wraps and replaced all the tie wraps and got all these wires secure. Got wiring up here for the 3-in tweeter center channel, 3-in tweeter on that side. Powers ran through the firewall all the way back up here, all tie wrapped up, and out here to where the amps are gonna go. Same with this side over here. You can see Nathan just got this panel put back in. We did some sound treatment behind that panel, got all the wiring. It's actually a really nice spot for the wires to run out, which is great. And then same down that side, all the wiring's done. So yeah, so Nathan's putting this up on the bench, and we added sound treatment to the back of this OEM panel, which really makes a huge difference. I mean, before this thing was kind of dinky and hollow sounding. Now it's pretty solid, which is great. He's about to grab the other one. I guess you guys will see that in some super fast time warp mode. But yeah, all the wires are back here 100%. Panels are going in, and I have been working on, which I was sitting over here on the computer. You guys can see that. I got basically the enclosure laid out. This is like a side profile of the enclosure. I took a PDF drawing of the woofer and resized it to the same dimensions as the sub so I could see how it fits in the enclosure. You guys can see it's very tight as far as fitting into the enclosure, but I got that all figured out. And then I basically laid out all my parts. So I have, these are the sides of the enclosure, these are the center pieces that go in between each, they basically go here in between each woofer, and these are all the other pieces here that we can cut out on the CNC machine, and then we'll go ahead and cut all the angles on the table saw, and we can get this enclosure put together. I'm going to go over the design a couple more times, make sure I didn't miss anything, make sure I'm happy with it. I'll sleep on it. We're not going to cut it today, but I just wanted to get a head start on this enclosure while Nathan is working on the sound treatment. So that's what's going on right now. So I think I'm gonna start messing around maybe with the front doors, or check out the kick panel location since we got most of the interior out. So I'm gonna go over there now and see what I can mess with next. Basically at this point in the install and what's going on is we have to basically come up with a plan. We have to look at all the different situations going on in the car, like speaker, you know, we have to check if the speakers fit in the kick panel, what type of adapter we have that'll work, if we already have one made, because we do make a lot of different Ford adapters, so we probably have an adapter that will work in here already. I'm gonna go ahead and check that out. Back from lunch, so got the 4-inch speaker out. Actually last night off camera I stayed a little bit longer and I made a copy of the factory speaker, which is kind of cool. It's a little adapter that holds a 3-inch mid, so you guys can see that this just get this put in here if I can get it the right way. So yeah, so I have a adapter. This literally bolts right in, and we could technically just drop the 3-inch Coaxial driver into the dash location, hook it up, and put the panel back on. But we want to put a tweeter in here as well, and we're going for more of a showy custom look. So we're actually going to, my idea is to, let me take this back over to the bench. So normally you can just remake a panel to hold the driver, but in this case, right, we could fit the mid would play through the grill opening, as you can see right here. That's fine and dandy, but we also have a tweeter to install. So what I'm thinking about doing is I want to do something custom here and mount the 3-inch driver and this tweeter possibly on this grill assembly, or maybe in the dash, and then make this a grill. I'm not sure exactly yet. I have to take a look at what to do. So now I actually drew this shape last night. So now I can go over to the computer, and I'm gonna actually, I drew my rings for this, and for this. So I'm gonna go ahead and, I haven't cut it out yet. I'm gonna cut it out of a piece of paper, basically, like a piece of poster board. We're gonna make sure it fits on here, and then we'll start messing around on the computer and going through some ideas on how to, how I'm gonna finish this, how I'm gonna do the grill and everything, come up with a design. So, and then we also have to do, we're gonna add this little driver to the center of the dash, which will make this grill, the middle grill, and the right grill all match each other. And then obviously we have our 6.5 inch, 1/2 inch thick speaker adapter that fits this mid-bass driver perfectly, and that should mount in to replace this factory driver. You guys can see this lines up. This is basically our version. It replaces that driver. So we can mount our Coaxial mid-bass driver in the stock location. But we'll obviously do some sound treatment down in there, and we'll get, this is pretty much figured out. So we're gonna set that aside. We don't need to worry about that right now. That doesn't really take any design stuff. So right now I'm gonna go ahead and cut out a trim, initial piece, and then I'll work on some design stuff in the computer and start playing around with some designs, cut some things out on the laser, come up with a plan, and then execute it, get this done. So all right, so now I'm here at the computer, and I have my shape here, and I'm gonna basically just move it over. I'll move it right here on my table. I have it, my power set and everything, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and get it all set up. Basically get it set up to cut right there. And I actually have to focus the laser on our material. Go ahead and that speaker can't play the song. Forgot to turn on the chiller, so the laser doesn't work without the water chiller on. It'll act like it's doing something, but didn't do anything, so I had to restart that. So let's start it now. Go around it, we can cut this part out. We got this piece of paper, it didn't cut perfectly because it wasn't sitting flat on the table. This paper's a little warped. So, got this now that fits pretty good. You guys can see it's a little off here. I did really good on that one though. Got the outer shape pretty good. So now I got this template, and then let's go over to the car and get this grill in. You guys can see I have a paper template. Let's see if I can get a better angle. See, got a paper template that fits perfectly there. Well, not 100% perfect yet, but we're gonna mold this thing in and get a 3 and tweed up here, and then do that side, the passenger side, and then we'll do something cool in the middle. So now I can start playing with go on the computer and start playing with some layouts and come up with a plan. So I'm going to go do that, and then I'll check back with you guys on what I came up with. Alright, let's check in here, what's going on. You guys know I made this paper template here that matched up to the dash, and now I just spent some time to lay out the drivers and the dash, and I cut out 3 different pieces of acrylic, which I'm gonna pull off the laser now, which I cut them off right here, so I can pull these out. Take it over here. Oh, so this is how this is going to go, possibly. So we got a base plate, a flush ring, and a trim. So I've kind of created this stack of plastic parts. Come over here to the truck, and I'm gonna set these in here so you guys can see what I got going on here. This is not, come around this way. This is a stack of plastic that I've created for the 3 and the tweeter. Not sure exactly how I'm gonna mold this in yet. I'm gonna go ahead and pull this. Actually, I can just come over here to this side. What are you guys doing?
Measuring.
Okay. Awesome. Let's put them in this side. Nope, it doesn't go like that. It goes like this. So we got 1, 2. Oh, maybe I should put this in the right way. 2 and 3 pieces stacked on top of each other, and this allows me to, now if I glue all these together, I have basically a nice baffle, a strong baffle to hold the speakers here in the dash, and then I can make a custom grill and add a profile to this shape. So let's go ahead and see how this is going to work. All right, guys, you saw that Nathan and I pulled this dash panel out, and I kind of moved my workspace over here to the fab shop. And you know, I cut out some parts. So I have the OEM grill, and then on the computer I designed a couple parts. So the whole idea of this, you pop this back in. Pop this back in here. So this fits in here perfectly. And so what I want to do is I want to mount the 3-inch tweeter to this grill. So I'm going to reshape and remold this particular panel to hold a 3-inch tweeter. So what I went ahead and did was I made a base, get this the right way, a trim or a flush trim. So this is about a 1/2 inch thick, and I placed this on here just for mock-up. Kind of did this in the car for you guys, but I'm going to show you on the bench. So right now I have 3/4 of an inch worth of material, and I'm thinking that's way too thick. As you guys can see, it's built up 3/4 of an inch from the original height, which is over top of this high point right here. So what I'm thinking about doing, I really need to keep this 1/4 inch ring because I want to make a grill to fit in. Basically it'll be a piece that fits in. This is a solid, this is basically the cutout. This is basically the cutout from this part. But what we'll do is we'll go back and we'll design a grill, a mesh basically on the laser or in CAD, and then cut it out on the laser. So this really needs to stay about a 1/4 inch thick. This mid-range is about, it's a little shy of a 1/4 inch. Okay, we're back. Battery died. Restart. Okay, so factory piece, bunch of acrylic parts. So basically what I want to do is I want to try to bring this down. Right now I have this built up with all my rings about 3/4 of an inch. It's way too high. I need to bring it down more. I don't want this to be built up 3/4 of an inch. I want to bring this down a little bit, but I do need the 1/4 inch spacer here for the grill. I need the 1/4 inch for the basically flushing of the speakers into the panel. I'm going to go ahead and recut this out of a thinner 1/8 inch material that we can then bond here to the dash location, and then we can bond this to that piece of 8 and then bond this ring, try to bring this down a little bit, and then I can do some router work. We can glue all these together and do some router work, and then we'll be able to epoxy this to the factory grill, and then we can mold it in, get it all nice, and then go ahead and paint it to match, primer it and then paint it to match this dash piece. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that out now, and I'll be right back and show you what it looks like then. All right, guys, recut this bottom layer in 1/8 inch, so that fits here right on the dash. And then we have our 1/4 inch spacer and our top ring for our grill insert. So now we just brought this down to about 5/8 of an inch. And we're gonna see if we can do a cool profile on here. I'm gonna go ahead and glue these together and just kind of start playing with it, just to get an idea on what it's going to look like. This may not be the final, but I kind of have to start putting it together to come up with a final idea. So I'm going to go ahead and set this thing up and go ahead and glue these things together. So I'll set up the camera so you guys can see what's going on here. I'll go ahead and get my supplies. I have this little box I use for making pressed grills, so I can use this box to actually align each part perfectly on top of each other, and get these things glued together. So go ahead and remove the paper. This is pretty cool how this works. If you guys ever work with any type of acrylic, this is definitely awesome. You can basically bond this into one piece of acrylic with this glue. So we'll go ahead and remove the paper, protective paper, off of each one here. And get that paper off. So get that piece off. So now we have this, and this will line up. Use my little jig box, and it allows me to line that up really well. And then you literally just take this it's like water almost, but it's actually acrylic glue. You can run a bead all the way around. Get it in the tweeter hole. See if I can get some down here on the edge. Get it all up underneath there. Same with this. Get it all in there. So I got that on there. And then I'll put my last layer on. You place this ring gently on top. Make sure everything lines up. Don't really want to force it. And then let it just sit in place, and then I can run another bead of glue underneath this. And I can make sure it's pushed down. Alright guys, this is the panel. This is basically a prototype. I'm pretty sure we'll end up rebuilding this completely over again on the final production, because normally this inside edge I would normally do a chamfer on, because I don't want a sharp edge meeting a sharp edge, because we're doing a grill in here. So we'll want to soften this edge with a small baby chamfer, and then we'll do some router work around the side. I don't have a lot of thickness. This is about 1/4 inch, or actually it's about 0.2. So I'm going to do a 22-degree chamfer around this side here. With this, I'm going to work my way up. I'm not going to go all in at once, and go ahead and see what this looks like. So we'll go ahead and set this up here for you, and we're gonna set this router there. I'm not gonna do it all at once. Turn this on. So just added a profile here to this. Let's walk back over here. I got the panel sitting here, so you can go ahead and set that up on the dash again. You guys can kind of see what that looks like. It's really hard to see the definition in it right now, with it being just acrylic and kind of dirty and stuff, but definitely playing around with it, see what happens as we move forward. It's just, you know, trying to figure out what looks best and what we can possibly do. So I'm going to work on this some more and kind of figure out what's going on, see if we can come up with something really cool. So all right, so you guys saw how that fit. I'm gonna just go ahead and put a light scuff on this and probably paint it with some primer, just a light coat of primer, so I can start seeing the shape and take a look at it in the vehicle. Okay, so we just did a light scuff on this, painted it with some Sim high build primer. Stuff is awesome. We'll go ahead and let this dry for a little bit. And while this is drying, because I just wanted to get a better visual of this pod, so I'll let this dry and then I'll probably spray it with some Sim or something just to give it some type of finished look, and then start playing around with see if I like the way it looks in the vehicle. The back half of this is going to have to get molded into that plastic, so let's just let this dry for a while. Right now I'm going to go and draw a template for the center channel, see if we can go ahead and start getting a head start on that center channel location. Get a basis done, and then we'll work on once I'm happy with this pod, we'll basically make a left and a right and mold them into the grills and go through that whole process. And then we'll also have a foundation for the center channel, and then we can make all 3 grills look very similar in design, so they look like they're all from the same mind and same concept, and you know, we want it all to look the same. So this looks pretty good so far. I mean, it's not perfect at all because it's just a quick sand and some primer, and I will see you guys in a few minutes. All right guys, I'm back here. Okay, so you guys saw I made this prototype piece. I put some primer on it and painted it black so I can kind of see. Obviously we're not going to finish it in black because it doesn't match this dash looks black in the truck, but once you put something absolutely black next to it, it's very gray. So we're going to have to get some sim to match this dash panel, because we're going to want to paint these so they look like a plastic part. So I'm going to go, let's walk over here real quick to grab this. This is the factory grill. Alright, so this factory grill pops in here, right? That pops in there like that. Initially, we're thinking of building this so this fits on top. I don't like it. It sticks up way too far. So that's why we built a prototype. So we're gonna pop this back out. See if I can do it with one hand. One-handed. Get this popped back out. There we go. Got that popped out. So this piece fits down in like that. I like that look a lot better. So with some thinking, I redesigned, instead of it sitting on top of this, what we're going to do is actually we're going to end up cutting the factory grill and making some modifications. I actually did it on the computer already. So we're going to cut this out in a way, and cut this bottom layer out in a way so this back section of the grill that meets up over here will actually kind of fit in to this piece, and they'll basically line up. So it's very hard to explain. Let's go over to the computer, and I'm going to go ahead and get these parts lasered out, and I'll basically be able to explain to you guys a little bit better on how this is going to go together. So that's why I make a prototype, so I can look at it, decide what changes I want to make, and then we can go into final production of this part. So I'm going to go over here to the laser or my computer, and going to see what I got going on here. I got all these weird parts. Now you can see I did some cutouts and stuff. So got some material loaded in the laser. I'm gonna go ahead and just frame this real quick, make sure it's gonna fit on my part, which it is. So we're gonna go ahead and cut these now. I'm gonna go ahead and cut this over here. So we'll close this down, turn on our air assist and vacuum, and let's start. The laser is gonna go to town and cut these parts out. All right, guys, you guys just saw we cut all these new parts on the laser, and now I'm going to kind of show you what I was talking about as far as, remember we talked about this sitting on top of the grill and how I didn't like it, and then I think that looks better. So I basically went back to the drawing board here and did some thinking about how this is going to work. So this is kind of how it's going to work. So this is layer 1, and I actually have a template here. So this fits to the front section of the grill. And if you guys look right on the other side, there's a clip here and a clip here. We want to leave these 3 clips intact. So I got this first layer, and then the second layer is going to go over top. So once these are bonded together, it'll look like this from the back, right? So then what we're going to do, I made another template, and this template we're going to attach to this factory grill, and we're going to use the router table and the router and a flush trim bit, and we're going to flush trim this right here, running the bearing against the template, and then it'll basically cut this nice and smooth and perfect. So according to my calculations and everything, once we cut this on the router, this piece left will basically will butt right up against this base piece will butt right up against this piece like a puzzle piece.
Just replace this right here.
Yeah, we'll cut this off, and this plastic piece will replace this section. So you guys can see this template is a quarter inch smaller set back. The bit that we use is a 1/4 inch in diameter. So the bit will run on this template and basically cut that material out, making it so this butts exactly up to that piece, right? So then this piece will fit down in. The grill section that we have left will clip in and fit down, and then the cover plate will then cover both pieces, our acrylic base and this part of the grill, and then it'll sit down flush like this is what we're after. And then we'll add our ring to the top of this, and then overall we'll end up with a fitment a lot closer to this, so it'll look like it's sunken down in there and it's not sticking up 3/4 of an inch. It'll look like it's, you know, 3/8 of an inch sticking up. So maybe not exactly, but that's the whole concept. So that's what we got. Like I said, we made the prototype, making sure everything fits the way I want it to, and I think I'm very happy with this after thinking about it, going through some designs. And tomorrow we're going to basically start putting all this together and go ahead and finish these left and right pods, and then we will work, once we get these left and rights done, then we'll move on to working on the center channel location.